Hello, welcome to Racing to Win. It's the twice weekly preview show for racing in Hong Kong, and we're at Happy Valley on Wednesday night for an 8-race program, so a slightly later start time with one race less. But still, 8 winners to find, and to preview it all, joined in the studio today by Paul Ellie and Tom Wood. And Tom, that last race on Wednesday night's a ripper. Should be, Mark. It's a really good contest with California Deeply, who's won his last two, and he was very impressive again, winning a recent barrier trial. Gorgeous Vitality, you'd say he'd take money again, along with Pretty Queen Prawn, who's had a freshen up, and Blinkers on Harmony and Blessed, who's got a record first up of 2 wins, 3 starts. He's had the 4 trials to prepare for this. Joined also by Paul Lally. Plenty of jackpots coming up on the weekend, Paul, but what about Wednesday night?
There's just the one. That goes into the triple trio, so there's 900,000 going into that, so that should get up to about 3 million. There's only one first starter throughout the whole card, so we've seen most of the horses in the past.
4 double trios, and the first one will kick off on race number 1 with just the 8 races also. Before we go on with the show, we're heading back to Sha Tin Trials this morning. 2 of the stars of Hong Kong racing made an appearance. Golden 60 and California Spangle.
450 metres. California Spangle, Beauty Tycoon, they're 4 in advance on Keefe. Fantastic Treasure, Blaze Warrior. Golden 60 down the middle of the track, followed by Cherry, and then came Trillion Win, Country Boy and Beauty Verse. California Spangle below the 200 metres, leads here a length and a half. Beauty Tycoon down the outside, Golden 60 is coming, but it is California Spangle in front, being kept up to the mark by Purton. He'll go on and win and beat Golden 60 second. A great clash coming up shortly in the Stewards Cup.
It's copy and paste, same as every trial. You know, he jumps, he bowls along, he does what he needs to do, so he's going well, yep.
Is he becoming the sort of the all-round model now, this horse? I mean, from his early days, did you feel that there's a lot that's changed with him?
No, I don't think so. He's the same as he always has been. He's always had that, apart from his first 2 starts, obviously, when Neil Callan was riding him and he was missing the start. You know, since they changed jockey, and he's been getting better out the gates, and he does everything right now. So, you know, as soon as he come back as a 4-year-old, he worked out what he needed to do, and he just does everything right since.
Trot quite a bit. Apparently the walker is not working, so I had to come up early to trot him to warm him up. No, he trialled very well. Of course, he had only been doing some light work and cruising all the time after last run, so this trial would love him to work a little bit just for the big race. Yeah, jumped very well, feel confidence in the straight, and he picked up very well, so yeah, very happy with it.
I've got some viewer feedback, and N. Cullen from Newmarket says, tell Purton I made that horse, but his trial is very good, Tom. It was push button again, the marker off at the front, and he just did what he needed to do. Golden 60, Paul, he was pushed out a little bit. We know he doesn't exactly like the all-weather track, but he was making ground at the end, but I think we've seen him trial better. Yeah,
as Vincent said, he just wanted to give him a bit of work at the end, so he did really push him out there. You know, I agree, he has trialled better in the past, but he did some really bad trials and then came out and won really easy as well, so always hard to tell with his trials. Yeah, his trial form is really hard to follow, but we need to get on with the show for Wednesday night. We've got a scratching to report too, and an informed horse in Bright Kid has been withdrawn, replaced by Kung Fu Master Panda. Hugh Bowman will take the ride for Pierre Ung. The meeting details for this Wednesday night. We've got 8 races. First is at 7:15. It is meeting number 37. We're on the C course for racing. We're going to focus on races 7 and 8, both Class 3s over the 1650, and that very competitive 1,000 metre race as race number 8. The 7th, though, the Connaught Handicap, 1650. Amazing 1+ at the top of the book. Jerry Chow for Benno Jung. Rising from Ashes has had 3 goes over the 1650. The best was his first. Zone D has had 2 trials since having blood in the trachea last start. Gallant Crown's a 4-time course and distance winner. Dynamic Spirit has the hood going on. The runner, all of his form has been over the 1,200 metres. Jumbo Legend blinkers off, up in trip, as is Silver Hammer. Master Tornado has the cross noseband and the tongue tie on, and Semican down the bottom. He has a gear change too. He was a crossover noseband for the first time. Over to the speed map we go here, Tom, and the pace expected to be good over the longer trip of 1650.
Yeah, well, Dynamic Spirit, he went forward last time out, but got no peace in the front, with especially Red Majesty being a pest on the outside. Samarkand, the runner, he was quite handy again last start. That's what he normally does. And Master Tornado, Paul, you'd think he may be a bit closer because his first 3 runs, he's had 11, 11 and 12. He's come up with barrier 1 this time.
Yeah, and also his win in Australia was over the 1600 metres, so I think he's in the right distance for him. And Zone D, he's another one that could be a couple of places closer as well from barrier number 2. Rising from Ashes will get back. Powerful Wings is drawn wide, so he'll get back as well.
All right, but it is Jumbo Legend who is our first focus. There is still a chance for the 4-year-old series for Jumbo Legend, so he's on trial at the 1650, and Nick spoke to his rider, Vincent Ho.
Vincent, Jumbo Legend, one of your rides on Wednesday night. Horse very much in form. He's going open trip. What's your take on the extra distance for him this time around?
Yeah, last couple of runs he start to, couldn't really keep up the pace for 12. That's why we decided to step him up. And at the trial, we trial him in the, at a mile, and he still had a good turn of foot. So we're sure he can handle a mile. With the good barrier will definitely help.
The blinkers, last time he wore blinkers, they've come off this time around. Was that just sort of experimental with him, with the headgear? Yeah,
we tried the blinkers and see if he responds well at the 1200 and still have the good turn of foot. But I think stepping up a mile is a better option than just put a blinker and go for 12. So that's why we step him up, and of course to the mile we don't need the blinker. We should be able to sit a little bit closer than 1200 all the time at the back. So without the blinker, you should be able to do it.
You mentioned the fact that he might just have sort of caught himself a little bit flat-footed. Is he the type of horse that you get rolling early on, perhaps, to sustain that long run with the extra distance?
No, not really. He can still kick as long as he, of course, he surely relax well. He shouldn't be over racing. Doesn't really have to pick up too early.
Vincent Ho there, Tom. He may get the pace to suit this week, Jumbo Legend.
And we've seen in the past, Mark, that he does have a really good turn of foot, this horse. So maybe, Paul, if over the 1650 metres, if they are a bit closer, that turn of foot could be a real asset. Yeah,
no, definitely. Look, he's by Hitchinbrook. Champions Way has won over 1600 metres here, Hong Kong. Most of the other runners beat the clock, etc., sort of a more 1400 metre races. But the way he finished off that, and he's trialled well, they seem pretty confident they'll get it, and I think they will.
He's trained by Casper Founds, Paul. Here are Casper's runners for Wednesday night. He has lost one. Bright Kid's come out, but the top 2 are both last start winners. Can you see a winner or 2 amongst them?
Yeah, really like Young Life Forever. I thought he ran really well when he stepped up and tripped last time. Sugar's going really well in a tough race, but he's going nicely. Jumbo Legend's going to have to be a chance as well.
Sugar just needs to jump better this time out, but really do like Jumbo Legend there as well. Sugar's definitely got claims also.
He has won 2 of his last 3. Sugar comes back to Happy Valley. We'll see him shortly, Tom, but we're going to start with Amazing 1 Plus, who's very hard to catch for the win, and surely the runner's better over 1200.
Yeah, he is. It's not going to be ideal here for the runner at all up to the 1650 once again, but Amazing 1 Plus actually stayed on fairly well. He jumped a bit awkward in the early stages of this race, but was finishing off out wider, but it was Loyal Baby who won this race, Paul, so I don't know what we take out of it.
Yeah, look, I haven't got him in Amazing 1 Plus, just the one-time winner. Look, he has run placings off higher ratings before, so he is capable.
This race, Paul, this is where Dynamic Spirit was hammered in the lead by Red Majesty, and Happy Daily, off a cushy run, works home well.
Yeah, he finished off really strongly, didn't he, Happy Daily? And he was brave. He came through the gaps with no problems whatsoever. Dynamic Spirit's probably worth another chance as well because, as you say, he didn't get much luck. And I think he'll be left alone in front this time.
Yeah, and he's got the hood going on, so maybe that'll help relax him. Even though when he didn't have that early pressure, even when he jumped out of the gates, he was still quite fierce. So just hopefully he settles a bit better.
He's rising from ashes, Tom. His best over the 1650 was his first try at the trip. He's just been a little average since then.
Yeah, last time out he got a little bit tight on the rail. We know that's the race that All Beauty has come out of and won the race behind Winning Dragon. He wasn't beaten overly far in those, and he was sort of snookered away down on the inside, but not the biggest of horses. Paul, he was down to the 990 pounds last time out, and all those horses around him have been sort of racing genuinely honest.
Yeah, look, I've included him just because I think that it's going to be the race run to suit for him. I think he'll get back and he can run on like he did there. I've got him in on a minor line.
That replay was 2 starts ago. After the trials here, Paul, this is Zone D at Shah 10.
Like this horse, Zone D. Look, he's run second off a similar rating before, Zone D. He's drawn nicely in 2, so I think he'd be slightly closer. He's got a good turn of foot on him as well, so I think he's one of the major chances.
Trial wasn't too bad. This, of course, was Duke Y up winning the trial, and Duke Y's been very consistent, as we know. He's had blood in the trachea, and he's also failed a vet exam with blood in the trachea after a gallop, so internally it worries me a little bit.
OK, so that is Zone D. Now, track work, Tom, for a horse that you're quite keen on, Master Tornado.
Yeah, Paul mentioned before, a winner over 1,600 metres in Australia. Maybe a little bit keen here in his track work, but wasn't too far from them last time out. In fact, all 3 runs hasn't been beaten more than 4 3/4 lengths, but he was closing off well last start, and the key is that he's got a better draw, he's got a few gear changes.
Yeah, and up in distance. I think, yeah, he's definitely one of the chances being up in distance as well.
All right, where have you included it or not included him?
I did include him, just on a minor line, but he's definitely in there for me. I'm going to go with Zone D. I just like that trial from him coming into this race. He has been placed off a similar rating, and I just think he's going to get a nice run from barrier number 2. Jumbo Legend up in trip, little query there, but they're pretty confident he can do the 1650 with no problems. Rising from ashes from the back, and Master Tornado, we just spoke about him. 3, 9, 2 and 11.
Yeah, Master Tornado for me, like that he's up in trip, gear changes as well. A tongue tie is going on him, as well as the crossover noseband, won over 1,600 metres in Australia, and he's drawn a gate as well. So each way Master Tornado, over 9 Jumbo Legend, I think up in trip will suit, has a good turn of foot. Happy Daily was a little bit held up last time out, so he's been running well recently. And the other one I've got in is Dynamic Spirit with the hood going on, just got no piece last time out, so we'll see what he can do. 11, 9, 6 and 5.
That is the preview for race number 7 over the 1650. Off to a break here on Racing to Win. Back to look at a really good sprint, race number 8, right after this. Good timing for the Chinese New Year promo. We race Saturday this week in Hong Kong, 12:15 local time at the start time for the opener. Then we race on Tuesday as part of the Chinese New Year celebration. So a little change to the roster for Saturday and Tuesday, but nothing different for Wednesday night. Race number 8 will go at the normal start time of 10 minutes to 11 o'clock, and it is full of pace, being a 1,000 metre race for the Class 3 gallopers. Special Aim comes back to his favourite trip. California Deeply carries an extra £7 for his win on the 14th of December. Gorgeous Vitality is second up. Pretty Queen Prawn, second time in Class 3. High Rise Soldier back in trip from the 1,200 to the 1,000. Life is Good wears a tongue tie. Smoky Bear comes back in trip, as does Island Golden from the 1,400 to the 1,000 for his first look at Happy Valley. A lot of speed here, Tom. Noted leaders in the race, including Super Axiom, but he does have a wide draw.
Yeah, well, he's a one-trick pony, isn't he? Super Axiom for Jack Wong and Meet Sure. He's drawn barrier number 11, so he's going to have to fire across them here. Smoky Bear, Pretty Queen Prawn, normally handy. Paul, not ideal for Harmony and Blessed out of barrier number 12, and then You've also got Special M, and Island Golden has gone forward in the past also. Pace predicted to be good to fast here.
Yeah, I reckon it will be. Island Golden, he's a query because he has got pace, but he's very, very wayward, and he's drawn a little bit wide. So with all that pace underneath him, I'm just not sure where he's going to end up. I think he might try and have to take a sit.
All right, he's, as Paul said, very wayward horses we saw on debut. We'll have to find out how he handles Happy Valley. One horse that does handle Happy Valley is Gorgeous Vitality. Here is Nick with Zach Purton.
Zach, Gorgeous Vitality is your ride in the final race on Wednesday night. Second up this time in, and he didn't go badly last time, even though he was caught a little bit wide.
I thought it was a bit disappointing first up, to be honest. I expected a little bit more, but you know, he hadn't raced for a small period of time, and he had the surgery to his knee in the off season. But the thing that worries me is he trialled again since then, and he didn't finish the trial off again. So whether he's just not comfortable at the moment, not fit, or he's not the form that he was, obviously, we're going to find out.
You take on the two that finished ahead of you once again in the shape of California Deeply and Pretty Queen Prawn. I guess at the revised weights, that certainly does bring him that little bit closer, perhaps.
Certainly does, but California Deeply has drawn a good gate and gave us a bit of a hiding in that race and in the trial, so he's going to be hard to beat.
And given that he obviously did cover a bit of ground his last couple, he's got a much better gate this time, so that certainly helps.
It will help, sure. You know, it's just a matter of whether he's in the right form or not. So.
All right, so that is Zach talking about Gorgeous Vitality. We go to California Deeply here. Tom, there he is hidden away through on the inside. He is a very good horse in the making. He's shown that already. Special M in this race too. Gorgeous Vitality is wider out, and Magic Tornado is actually eligible for the class drop.
It was a nice effort, this one from California Deeply, a 3-year-old by Deep Field, and really rallied strongly on the inside to their cutback to that inside rail, and in the end it was quite easy, Paul. A length and a quarter over a Special M. He's come out and won a trial very impressively since as well by over 3 lengths. Yeah,
all three of those go in actually in that race. I thought California Deeply, he's got this really good turn of foot, and he's still a really young horse as well. As you say, he's only a 3-year-old. He's only had the 3 starts here in Hong Kong. He's won 2 of them, most impressively as well. So, look, I think he can go on with it.
That is California Deeply, very well tipped by both Paul and Tom for race number 8. Our next replay, Tom, we jump the border up to Chung Fa, and this is Pretty Queen Prawn. Now, he does have a wide draw again, which has been a problem for him at stages throughout his career. He was good enough, though, to run second from barrier 9 last time.
He was, and that was back at the end of November, so he's had a little freshen up since then, and that was his first go last time out in Class 3, so I think that sort of bodes well for him, Paul, that he's up to this sort of level. Douglas White's done a good job with him.
He definitely has, and look, it was up for rating of 62. They put him up 3 for that, so he's up to this rating of 65 as well. But it shows that he is capable here in class 3. Just 9, a little bit tricky for him, but I think he can get across.
It's the same gate that he had when that second race behind California Deeply. Down the straight we go here, Paul, at the trial. Super Axiom, that is him in the lead. What have you made of Harmony and Blessed? 4 trials. He normally does race well fresh, and just on this trial, it's a perfect distance for Super Axiom. It's 800 metres.
Yeah, yes. He wished there was races for him over that distance. Look, Super Axiom is capable as well. He's run second off 63, and he's on a rating of 64, so he's been there, done that. We just know he's a little bit iffy in the last 50 metres. Look, chasing him there was Harmony and Blessed. Just worried about the draw for him.
Yeah, I'm worried about the draw as well, but I'm also worried it's going to be a cold night tomorrow night at Happy Valley, and he's a bleeder. It turned quite cold in the afternoon at Sharton, and there were a number of bleeders through that program, so he's obviously had internal issues in the past. Has been good first up in the past as well, Mark, but those internal issues on a cold night worry me.
Yeah, fair call too, with an apprentice riding him in that trial that morning too, so if you didn't recognise the cap. Here is Island Golden, Tom. Now, he's got an engine, but one of his biggest dangers is inside his head.
Yeah, he does a lot of things wrong, this horse. He's obviously still very immature, a 3-year-old by time test. Seemed to be going okay with the bungee on there in the track work, Paul, but I'm not overly enthused about any of those Class 4 restricted race form because they haven't exactly worked out well.
No, they haven't at all, and he's come into Happy Valley for the first time, and for a wayward horse, it just worries me a bit.
And back to 1,000 metres, he's untried over the trip.
Yeah, it might suit him because I think he is all about pace, but there's a lot of pace underneath him as well.
He's only had the one trial before his race day debut, so he's had one trial and 3 starts since he began his career here in Hong Kong. Good race.
Yeah, really good race to finish, but I thought California Deeply, the 3-year-old, can go on with it and win again. Gorgeous Vitality, she'll get a nice run from an inside draw. Pretty Queen Prawn and Super Axiom, so 2, 4, 5, 7.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really tough to beat California Deeply in the last. And if he was to go off at, 3.5 at the moment, if there's some roll-up money for other trainers and jockeys through the night, 3.5 would be a great price. But whether that holds up, California Deeply, Gorgeous Vitality, Pretty Queen Prawn and Special M's hard to leave out at this sort of level. A 2-time course and distance winner, all of his wins in this grade, and he wasn't far away behind Metro Warrior. 2, 4, 5 and 1.
It's a pretty popular top 3, numbers 2, 4 and 5 for race number 8. So we've previewed the last 2 here on Racing to Win, Paul, which means we need winners for the first 6, please.
Yeah, look, I thought Dazzling Fellow up to 1650 looks absolutely ideal for him. Second start in Class 5, so thought he could win the first. Jolly Honour, he's consistent. It's a real open race, race number 2. Management Folks, he stepped up in distance and run really well. I think he can win again. Super Vince, he's downgraded. I think he could be one at value in race number 4. Rattling Kingdom can go on with it. He's won his last 2. Young Life Forever, we've talked about. Young Life Forever, I should say, is one we haven't talked about, but as a horse that when he stepped up and tripped last time, it was a really good run from him for 3rd, and I think he can win as well, and we've talked about the last 2.
And you can find all of those races on the website, hkjc.com. Click on audio and video for your race-by-race analysis. But it's the end of the show. Who's the best bet?
Going to go with that Young Life Forever. It was a really good run from him when he stepped up and tripped. Second start over the 1650, I think he can win. Karis Teeton aboard. I like Karis on another horse as well, and that's Super Vince in race number 4. This horse is... look, he's downgraded. He's dropped 22 pounds too, so he's looked a little bit sharper in his training this week. I think he could be one at very good value. And if we're looking at the play, we're going to do the play in race number 5, a QQP around Sugar Rattling Kingdom and Righteous Aaron, who finished off strongly last start.
Yeah, best for me, we'll wait till the last race with California Deeply for Luke Ferraris and Tony Cruz. Look very progressive so far, and like the way he flies home off a good pace, and we get a good strong pace to aim at in the final race. Another Ferraris Cruz combination here with Righteous Arian in the 5th race. Horse number 7 really improved last time out. Odds of 30 to 1 when he placed last start. Does meet Rattan Kingdom, and the play in that last race with 2, 4 and 5. The popular 3, California Deeply, Gorgeous Vitality and Pretty Queen Prawn.
And going for a horse that we focused on earlier on the show, Jumbo Legend, Vincent Ho and Casper Founds, up to 1650 for the first time. Just think he might get the pace to suit. And if he's saved for one run up them, he does have that very good turn of foot. Long shot race 5, number 10, oversubscribed. Last win off a rating of 46. He's down to 47. The man on board for that last win was Alexi Bedell, who's had 2 rides on oversubscribed for 2 wins. Play of the day, race 7, 3 Zone D, 6 Happy Daily and 9 Jumbo Legend in a QQP, race 7, 3, 6 and 9. So that is a look at Wednesday night, Tom. A few open races amongst them, then some huge jackpots on Saturday at Shah 10.
Yeah, there are, Mark. A lot of money floating around there. A couple of Class 2 races, one a little bit light on numbers on the all-weather, but we've got Beauty Eternal, Wonder Kit. When they last met, it didn't work out well. They collided to each other. Excellent fighter, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. He was very impressive. And 2 of your favourites, Stand Up and Ching, Mark.
There's the best bet sorted. That's been Racing to Win. We'll see you for the first at Happy Valley at 7:15 Wednesday night.